100%.
Yeah, me too.
I felt disgusting. I felt gross. I felt like diseased. Like I had a red
scarlet. Yeah, the scarlet H
on me. So herpes is an annoying skin rash that many people have. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't kill you. It doesn't do anything to you except cause some unpleasant skin sensations.
Yes. Hello, cuties. Most adults in the world carry the virus that causes herpes in some way, shape, or form. Most of them don't know it, and most of them are passing it on without knowing it either. Today, my friend Debbie Barish, a sexual and reproductive health nurse practitioner with 32 years in the field, walks us through what herpes actually is, what it isn't, and why the shame around it is doing more damage than the virus ever could. Today, we talk about what's the difference between HSV-1 and 2, how transmission really happens, and why 70% of cases come from people who don't know they actually have it, why we don't test for HSV in most STI panels, suppression therapy, how it works, how effective it is, what the side effect profile actually looks like, when to tell a partner, how to say it, what to do if they react badly, why herpes carries the stigma that it does, HSV in pregnancy, what a first outbreak feels like, and how to take care of yourself through it. This is a very, very, very thorough episode all about herpes, and I hope that you share it widely because this is one step in reducing the stigma around HSV. My name is Sean Galanos, and this is The Love Drive. Okay, Debbie Barish.
Yes.
Welcome to the Love Drive podcast.
I'm so honored to be here.
How did this happen?
I listened to your interview of Dan Savage, who I've been following for many years, as many of us have.
Decades of Dan Savage.
Decades. And you revealed that you had, in the last few years, been diagnosed with HSV.
Correct.
And you were pretty matter of fact about it, but I picked up on something. I picked up on shame or embarrassment, not huge, but it was there.
Yeah.
And I just thought, he needs to hear from me.
I should send him a message.
I'm going to just reach out to him. I need him to know that there's nothing to be ashamed of. And so many people have it. And I want you to be able to talk about it and love yourself and love your herpes. Maybe not love yours, but
love my herpes.
It was I just wanted to send you love in that moment. I just thought I'm going to record him a voice memo and send it.
And you did, and the voice memo had really good audio quality. I was surprised at how crisp and clear, and then I liked the way you were talking about it. And so then I invited Debbie to come and talk to us all about herpes. I will say though, that when people say oh, I heard a little something in your voice, I get kind of annoyed at that.
Oh.
Because I was oh, I don't think I was particularly shameful, but maybe you have so much experience talking to people who, you see clients that come in. Maybe you're picking up on something that I wasn't intending to put down.
Maybe you have absolutely no embarrassment or shame about it, which is fantastic. There was something else you guys talked about a bit of a question about suppression and if it works or whatever. And I wanted to make sure you knew clinically about suppression and how effective it is. There were a couple things I felt I need to jump in here.
Oh, I'm excited. We were going to have, I didn't mean to
I don't want to, project something that isn't there.
Maybe you're feeling some shame about your herpes.
That is possible. That is possible.
It's possible that I'm also feeling some shame about my herpes that hasn't been processed or hasn't been.
It's hard not to feel shame about herpes.
Yeah.
Herpes is so stigmatized, in ways that other STIs are not. And
so weird, by the way.
It's so weird. So many people have it. And it's so not a big deal.
Okay. Here's what I propose. I propose that we have a conversation and we try to get through as much as what you think people should know about herpes. And I think that might include how to prevent getting it, how to prevent giving it to somebody. When you do have it, what can you do to lessen the impacts of some outbreaks? how to take care of your body in a holistic way. What are the differences between HSV-1 and HSV-2? Where they show up on the body. Wait, what are some other?
Talking about it with people.
Oh, how to talk about it, how to bring it up.
Yep.
Whether testing is something that you need to do.
That is very important for me to talk about. You guys all listening need to know about testing.
Well, okay, and then maybe we'll do a little HSV story time, and we might not, depends. Effects on self-esteem, how it's mostly benign for some people, but then there are other people that have very serious risks associated with it, I think. And then we're going to do some Instagram rapid fire questions.
Q's and A's, yeah.
Q's and A's. And so I think we're going to try to have a pretty complete conversation about it.
Fantastic. I'm here for it.
Okay, how about you introduce yourself so we know that you're the real deal?
Sure. Hi, my name is Debbie Barish. I am a sexual and reproductive health nurse practitioner for 32 years. I mean, my training is as a women's health nurse practitioner from UCSF. Even though my training and my degree is as a women's health nurse practitioner, I spent most of the last 20 years working at Planned Parenthood and taking care of people of any gender and all genders, men, trans, non-binary people. And so I prefer to refer to myself as a sexual and reproductive health nurse practitioner rather than a women's health nurse practitioner, although I focus on family planning and gynecology, and I've been taking care of people and their STIs for a very long time.
And you have a lot of letters after your name.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So I recently got a doctorate in nursing practice.
Congratulations.
So I have some new letters. So the letters stand for Doctor of Nursing Practice, Master of Science, and then Women's Health Nurse Practitioner Board Certified.
Okay, so you know what you're talking about?
I think I do. Yes. We'll see if you can test me or challenge me.
I don't have any tests, but I'm kind of curious, like before we even get started, if you could tell people one thing about herpes, what is it? If they had to just one takeaway right off the bat.
So herpes is an annoying skin rash that many people have.
Okay, we could just end the podcast there.
That is what herpes is.
It's a skin condition.
It's an annoying skin rash that can be uncomfortable.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't kill you. It doesn't do anything to you except cause some unpleasant skin sensations.
Yes, unpleasant skin sensation, especially the first time.
Yes. And I can talk about what it's like to diagnose somebody with herpes for the first time because it's a very hard thing that I do.
I could share my experience having been diagnosed with herpes for the first time. Okay, I guess we'll start off with the basics, like 101. What is it?
Yeah. So herpes is a virus. There are two strains of it that we know of, herpes type 1 and herpes type 2. Traditionally or historically, we thought of herpes type 1 as oral herpes that causes cold sores on the mouth. And many, many of us get exposed to that kind of herpes in childhood. In preschool, kids are kind of all over each other, kissing, whatever. So like people have cold sores, and that is caused by herpes type 1. We used to think of genital herpes as only caused by herpes type 2. That is no longer the case, that genital herpes is only caused by herpes type 2.
Correct.
So herpes type 1.
Correct. Correct. Good job.
Thank you for agreeing with me, Dr. Galanos. So herpes type 1 is typically less virulent. It's less severe than herpes type 2 in its effects. Most new genital herpes infections of the past 10 years are caused by herpes type 1.
Interesting.
And that is typically because it's passed through oral sex from somebody who has oral herpes, cold sore type of herpes, that passes it to their partner's genitals, and that's where the partner gets herpes. So most people who have genital herpes or who have gotten it in the past number of years have type 1.
But not everybody.
Not everybody. Some people have type 2.
Type 2 doesn't go up to the mouth?
It can, and it can cause more severe outbreaks in the mouth, but it's typically thought of as genital.
Okay. It kind of likes to stick around?
Yes. So, I mean, this gets into testing and culture. Like, it's all kind of interrelated.
It's gonna be a wild ride, everybody.
Yeah. We're gonna go on a little river cruise of herpes.
Okay, great.
So if you have a sore on your body that you think might be herpes, that sore can be cultured, and the culture tube can be sent to the lab. And
by cultured, you mean like rubbed raw with a Q-tip.
Yes, I do. It hurts to have a herpes culture if you have an outbreak.
But it's a very short. It's
2 seconds.
2 seconds. It's like rubbing a wound, basically.
Yeah, so you can send a test tube with a swab to the lab for a culture, which is where you grow out in, a petri dish, and you can tell whether, and that will test for herpes type 1 or herpes type 2 on the sore.
Okay.
There is also blood testing.
Right.
So blood testing is complicated because 50% of people have herpes type 1 in their blood. So if you test everyone for herpes type 1 and type 2, 50% of people are going to turn out positive for type 1.
Does the blood test can differentiate between 1 and 2?
Yes, but all it's testing for is antibodies.
Which means that you may have been exposed to herpes at some point in your life.
Your lifetime, you have been exposed to herpes type 1 or herpes type 2.
Or had sex.
It says nothing about how you got it, when you got it, where it's going to infect you, whether you're ever going to have an outbreak, whether you're ever going to pass it to another person.
Doesn't tell you anything.
The blood test is essentially meaningless, except in very specific cases that I can tell you why you would want a blood test.
I would love to know.
Okay. Well, one thing that is important to know about blood testing is that when people are having STI conversations with potential partners, they will often say, I've been tested for STIs and I'm negative, because they think that they've been tested for all STIs and they're negative.
Right.
If you go in to ask for STI testing, like at Planned Parenthood or wherever you might go, your doctor, whatever, herpes is not something we typically test for.
Unless you ask for it.
Unless you ask for it, because the blood test is very hard to interpret. Because you might go in for STI testing and have a positive HSV-1 antibody test, and it means nothing about what you're wanting it to mean.
Right.
So first of all, people should know that when they get STI testing, they're not probably getting tested for HPV or HSV, a human papillomavirus or herpes simplex virus. You have to specifically ask for a herpes test if you want it. And most clinicians will only do it with a conversation about how to interpret the results.
And how, which is basically what you just told us.
Yes. You don't want people to freak out when you give them their STI results and they're positive for herpes.
That's been my understanding of why we don't do a blood test for herpes. Is like if there are no symptoms, then sort of what's the point?
Exactly. So the only case that I recommend people get serologic or blood testing is if they're with a partner who has herpes and they want to know if they have antibodies to herpes. So if you already have antibodies to herpes, then you have some protection against getting a new herpes infection.
Interesting.
And or your partner may want to take suppression or not take suppression if you already have herpes antibodies. So in discordant couples where one person has it and the other person doesn't, there could be some usefulness in getting tested and knowing your status.
But also, just because you have antibodies, does that mean that you're...
It means nothing. I'm telling you.
But does it mean that you're not going to get it from your partner? If you already, but it might reduce the likelihood?
It probably reduces the likelihood.
In
but
some unknown way or percentage.
Yeah, I'm sorry because I'm supposed to be like your expert, but like
no, you're the bearer.
So much we don't know.
You're the bearer of news.
Happy to give you the news I have.
Yeah,
and
great.
Tell you what news we don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so that might be the only case in which it's worthwhile getting an antibody serum blood test for
HSV-1 and 2. We usually test for both.
If you don't have any symptoms.
Yes.
Okay.
The other time you might want to do it is if you do go in to see your clinician because you had a sore and you get tested by culture and that culture comes out negative. That doesn't necessarily mean that what you had wasn't herpes. It could just be that it was too healed to have fluid on the swab and it didn't grow out on that petri dish. So then you have a negative culture, but you actually have herpes. In that case, a blood test could be helpful, but it also could not be helpful.
In that case, just come back when you get it.
If it was herpes, you're going to get it again, most likely.
Unfortunately.
Some people get one outbreak and then never get it again.
The luckiest of the people, I think.
Some people get it once a month. Some people get it once a year. Some people get it a few times a year. It varies, and we have no way to predict who's going to get what number of outbreaks.
Is it true that generally over time they become less severe?
Generally, over time, they become less severe. Unfortunately, women will sometimes have an uptick after menopause. There's something hormonally that happens where women who have herpes and haven't been that affected by it then suddenly have more outbreaks when they get to menopause.
Okay.
Yes.
Unfortunately, yeah. One more thing that you have to deal with.
Yes.
I feel like it's a little unbalanced.
Well, statistically speaking, so the incidence of HSV-2 in the population is about 12%. So 12% of adults in this country have antibodies to HSV-2.
1 in 8, everybody.
But when you break that down, the incidence for men is like 6% and women more like 18%. So women are getting it more because men are
Giving it more.
Yeah.
Because women are, for the most part, receiving more of a receptive.
Yes.
It's a perfect environment for
Yes.
transmission.
And just like with HIV. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anybody who's receiving any sort of sex or penetration is going to be more at risk.
Yes.
Really quickly, because you touched on it, they don't test for HPV either,
Yes.
which
We could talk a lot about HPV.
should we?
Well, 85% of us have been exposed to HPV.
We'll touch on HPV. We'll have you come back for a whole thing on HPV because that was the first STI I got at the age of 16.
Most of us.
Yeah, and it was not pleasant.
But I think HPV is important to talk about because it's the other thing that people don't realize that they all have, and they're thinking they're getting tested for STIs, but they're not getting tested for HPV except when women go in for cervical cancer screening.
Yeah, and I think we can do it more of a service by doing a whole episode on it because cervical cancer is a serious risk.
Yes.
Much more serious than
Annoying skin
an
rash.
annoying skin rash. Yeah, which can be annoying, but doesn't have to affect your sex life that much.
That's right.
Okay, so where should we go now? Should we talk about transmission?
Sure.
Protection?
Yes.
Okay, so you can give it to people. That's how it gets spread.
So 70% of herpes cases are passed by someone who doesn't even know they have herpes.
Then that's different than asymptomatic.
They are asymptomatic and they always have been asymptomatic. Or they're
Or like so unaware that they have something going on.
Men will often not realize that they have herpes because their outbreaks are so mild. Maybe yours was not.
No. Kept me up at night.
But people can have just like a mild outbreak where it's just, the skin feels a little tingly, burny, and maybe there's like a little dot there that's open, but you don't really think about it. You think maybe you had a little abrasion from
Rough sex.
Masturbation.
Yeah.
Sex,
Oh, yeah,
whatever.
probably rough.
And then you don't even think about it. And
Yeah.
you actually have herpes.
Yeah.
And you give it to people.
Okay.
So it's not that most people have it and are asymptomatic and then they're giving it to people and not telling people that they have it. Most people who pass it to someone else don't even know they have it.
Right. But they have some symptoms.
Or not.
Or not. Right. Okay.
Because you can shed the virus on your skin and have no symptoms ever.
I mean, and that freaks people out a little bit.
Well, that's where we should talk about suppression.
Okay, let's talk about suppression.
Suppression is amazing.
And we're not done talking about transmission.
Yes, and prevention.
But like if you're asymptomatic and you haven't gotten a test and you haven't gotten a blood test and you're giving people herpes, so what now? Everybody has to be on Valtrex?
No, but don't be surprised one day if somebody comes to you and says, I just got herpes and you're the only person I've had sex with and I have this horrible full-blown outbreak and my nurse practitioner told me that I have a brand new herpes diagnosis and so you gave it to me.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't have herpes.
Yeah. Well, no, that would never happen to me. But
Not you, but like the person,
That's
the other
like,
person
yeah.
is like, I don't have herpes. And the person's like, yes, you do.
you're the only person I've had sex with in the last year.
Yeah.
But also can it lie dormant like HPV
Yeah.
for years and then crop up all of a sudden because you're stressed the fuck out, you're not eating well, you're not sleeping.
When I diagnose somebody with herpes for the first time, first of all, it's very intense because of the stigma, which we haven't even talked about yet. But like,
Don't worry, we'll get to it.
there's no way to say that somebody just had sex with somebody else. They could have had this for 10 years and not known they had it and given it to you. So don't jump to conclusions that your partner's cheating on you. Maybe they are, but
They could be.
Yeah.
Look for other evidence.
yeah.
Condom wrappers.
Have a conversation, ideally.
Oh, yeah, with a cheater.
Okay. If you know that you have herpes, like you do, and
I do.
you are dating,
Thanks for bringing it up.
you need to tell your partners that you have herpes.
Which I have been doing.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
You also are going to end up needing to do a lot of education.
Correct.
You also should be taking valacyclovir every day.
That I don't like. Which I have started doing.
Okay.
I'm sort of like anti-medication. Okay, hey,
This is why we're here.
okay. If you're listening and not watching, you can go back and watch
I
it.
gave him an eye roll.
Yeah, because people in healthcare are usually pretty pro-medication.
Well, we're supportive of medication that has a role in keeping people healthy. That doesn't make us pro-medication. But anyway.
And that's where we sort of differ, and then the interview ends.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I'm like worried that there are going to be side effects, or that like my kidneys are going to fail 20 years from now. And this is the part of, this is where you tell me, because you've had people who are.
Valacyclovir and acyclovir have been on the scene for many, many years. 40 years or more. I don't even know.
That's the generic name for Valtrex?
Yeah, Valtrex and Zovirax are the brand names.
Okay.
I don't like to use brand names.
No, I know. I love using, I mean, the medic.
Yeah.
Let's give credit to the medication, not the pharmaceutical company. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a lot of safety data about Valtrex, valacyclovir. It's very safe.
Yeah, cool.
Very, very safe. It has few, if any, side effects. Occasionally people will tell me they have headaches from it, but that's about all I've ever heard. Let's say you're not on valacyclovir, right? And you have herpes and your partner does not have herpes. The risk of you transmitting it to a long-term partner actually isn't that high if you are careful and avoid having sex when you have signs of an outbreak. There's only
We're going to have to talk about signs of an outbreak also.
We can talk about what that is. But let's say you're together for a long time. The uninfected person only has about a 10% chance a year that they're together that they're going to get it.
If you're careful.
If you're careful.
If you're careful and you're not having sex like during the tingling and after phase.
Yes.
Right.
We should talk about prodrome and that. But I think I mentioned in my voicemail to you, or maybe in a follow-up conversation, that I was with my husband for 26 years. I got herpes right before we met from someone else, and he never got herpes in 26 years, even blood, even antibodies.
Were you on Valtrex the whole time?
No.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah. So, and no, we did not use condoms either.
But don't look at me like that.
No, I mean, because you're going to say like you prevent it by using condoms, but no.
Well,
lots of people don't use condoms and still don't pass it. I'm not giving you permission to go have lots of no condom sex. If
raw
you have
dog.
herpes.
I want everyone raw dogging it.
But I also don't want people to be paranoid and think that they have to use condoms forever, that's going to even help. We have to talk about how condoms don't even help, because the parts of your bodies that are touching each other with a condom on have herpes, and they're touching each other even though you have a condom on. Do you know what I'm trying to describe?
You have to put, well, I mean, base of the penis,
yeah,
lips.
So like, okay.
You didn't bring your banana?
Here's a penis with a condom on it, right?
Yeah.
And then that penis on that person is going up against this person's whatever. Vagina,
whatever it could be.
ass,
Yeah.
whatever. But this person's body, like they have herpes like around their scrotum or whatever, and it's touching against this person's vulva.
Okay, wait. What if you have herpes on the like the sores have been on the tip of your penis, or on like right underneath the glands, fully covered by a condom? Can you still shed it from all around your genitals?
No, you only shed it from where you get it.
Okay.
So wherever you have outbreaks is probably where it's living in the nerve bundle there, but we don't know exactly.
But
how
it can move.
It can move.
Wash your hands, I guess.
Wash your hands.
After you masturbate.
You're going to touch your genitals. Wash your hands before you touch your mouth.
I know, but you know, people are into all sorts of shit, right? Like, but basically this is it's a good point, because sex is very tactile.
Yes.
There's a lot of touching happening. It's really hard to have a very like sterile sex experience.
Right.
That doesn't include touching the whole body, your whole body and somebody else's whole body. Like, how many times have you done something where you're like touching their face, touching their genitals, touching your genitals? Like, that's just kind of what happens.
Exactly.
And good sex sometimes is kind of juicy sex.
Yes. And you're like touching around the butt or even in the butt, and then you're getting butt germs, it's germs.
Yeah.
Your own germs or STI germs are all kind of like in the mix of
Yeah.
the fluids.
Yeah. It's hard to keep it sterile. It's not a sterile activity.
It's not a sterile activity.
But it's worth it.
It's so worth
Dan
it.
Savage would say it's worth it.
It's so worth it. It's what did he say? It's like the rent you pay for
It's the
price you pay
of admission.
Yeah,
I
for
think.
being a sexual being.
Well, but a lot of people would push back on that and say, what do you mean? Getting herpes is the price of admission for having sex? I mean, before I got it, I was pretty happy not having it.
I really want to hear about your story.
Okay. But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
people don't, it's like, I'm not in the business of collecting STIs.
Exactly. Nobody wants it.
Yeah.
Like once you get it, you learn how to live with it. But
Yeah.
nobody wants to go out and get an STI of any kind.
No, unless that's a weird kink.
That is a weird kink. And I think there's stuff that goes on in the HIV community around HIV, and like you might as well get it because you're going to get it eventually.
Yeah. Wow. That's probably
That's
small.
a whole other thing, because now so many people are on PrEP or on meds if they have HIV that's less of a thing.
Totally.
But which is amazing.
Which, by the way, doesn't prevent you from getting herpes.
And in fact, there's more syphilis among men who have sex with men now because so many men are on PrEP and they think they don't have to use condoms. And there's a lot of syphilis, which is treatable.
We'll bring you back for like syphilis, gonorrhea, and what's the other one? Trichinoma or something? Yeah.
Chlamydia.
Yeah. We'll bring you back for those, the ones that you can just take some antibacterial.
But let's focus on HSV.
Please.
There's so much. I mean, we haven't even
Scratch the surface. The sore surface.
Should we talk about what herpes feels like and what it like?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What's an outbreak feel like? I will say though that my first outbreak was more around the base, and now
because that's probably where you got exposed to it.
Correct. After the
vulva, I assume it was for somebody with a vulva.
Maybe
not.
Probably.
You mostly have sex with people with vulvas.
Yeah, I do.
From what I get from your podcast.
Yeah. That which always surprises people somehow.
And I don't assume anything about anybody having
You
sex
wouldn't.
with anybody.
You wouldn't.
But
you would be really bad
think-
at your job if you did.
Yeah, I really try not
Which
to.
there are, right? There are like, religious nurse practitioners and healthcare workers.
Also, there are nurse practitioners and doctors who don't work in this kind of setting who see somebody with a herpes outbreak and have a lot of their own judgment and bias about it. Like, I'm immersed in it all the time.
Right.
But there are people who, if you just go to like some freestanding urgent care, which many people do, because women often think they have a UTI because it hurts when they pee when they have an outbreak for the first time, but it hurts when they pee because when the pee touches the
ulcer,
it is like razor blades. It's excruciating. But they say on the phone, it really hurts when I pee.
Right.
And then people think you have a UTI, which is a different kind of pain.
Yeah.
And then they get antibiotics. It doesn't help because they have a raging herpes outbreak, and it hurts because the pee is acidic and it's like putting fire on whatever.
An open wound.
Yeah. Anyway, I keep going off on tangents.
It's
but
okay.
These are all really important.
Yeah, no, we're doing a lot of tangents today.
So you go into urgent care thinking you have a UTI, but you actually have a herpes outbreak, and the person who's taking care of you doesn't see herpes all day, like somebody who works at Planned Parenthood or in a family planning setting.
Or a clinic, like an STI clinic.
Yeah, and they don't have all the information. They don't know how to counsel the person about how to live with themselves, because people freak the F out when they get a new herpes diagnosis.
Yeah.
So I want to just be out in the world, like teaching other clinicians about stigma about herpes and teaching people about stigma about herpes. And
if you have an unpleasant experience at whatever place you went for your first outbreak, like there are better alternatives out there. I've been to the SF City Clinic and I just
they're fantastic.
I love them so much. All they do is see STIs all day. Very non-judgmental, very stigma-free, very matter-of-fact. Here, big bowl of condoms on the way out,
They also have a provider hotline that's free that any provider can call and talk to an STI provider to ask their questions. Which is so amazing that they do that.
For practitioners.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So you don't have to settle for like your old GP who, is retiring and has never really seen what you have. There's options.
And it's
there.
like, why are you having sex with more than one person? Or
Sure,
something like
right.
Why don't you just keep it in your pants?
Because sex is fun and it's hard to keep it in your pants sometimes.
Yes.
And why should we be keeping it in our pants?
I don't think we should.
There we go. Okay, so for me, yeah, it was at the base, but now it's no longer at the base.
Okay.
So for me, it moved. It changed places.
Okay.
Just
And
so
now you only get it in
underneath
the place.
underneath the gland. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you, as I know from your podcast, you are uncircumcised.
Correct.
So your coronal, the head of your penis and under the foreskin is a more sensitive mucous membrane because it's not exposed all the time. So probably
chafing and dry. Yeah.
More conducive to viral things.
It's unfortunate. That is one of the drawbacks of being uncircumcised.
Yeah. STI risk is higher.
Yeah.
So I was talking about what a herpes outbreak feels like.
Yes.
Yeah. So most people have something called prodrome, which is where before you actually have a sore or a blister, you get a burning, tingling, itching sensation. It's a very distinctive kind of uncomfortable, burning, itching, tingling sensation.
It could be throbbing. For me, it felt like
it's like an awareness.
There's like a deep sort of sensation that has no visible.
Yes, it's like a sensitivity. And that can last for a day to a couple days. And then blisters will appear. And the blisters are very painful. And then the blisters will unroof. And then there will be a shallow ulceration or a cluster of ulcerations more likely. And that is excruciatingly tender for most people and much worse the very first time you ever get an outbreak. So the first time you get an outbreak, it can go on for weeks.
It did for me.
Okay. And taking valacyclovir in a higher dose the first time you have it can help clear that up a little bit sooner, but sometimes it just takes weeks. Subsequent outbreaks are usually not that bad. They're usually just a few days.
Yeah, but maybe up to a week for the whole kind of...
Yes.
For it to disappear completely, which it does disappear completely.
Yes.
Sometimes not like a shred of evidence that it was ever there.
I mean, today when you don't have an outbreak, no one would know that you have herpes.
No one would know.
There's no evidence. Anyway, so you're most contagious during that prodromal period and when you first get the blisters.
Yes.
So...
And less so when it's starting to heal up.
Yes, although really you shouldn't have genital or mouth genital contact until even the scab. So it'll blister, then ulceration, then scab, and then cleared up. You shouldn't have any contact until totally cleared up.
Yeah, which means you have to do other things.
And there are other things to do, people.
Other things to do. Mutual masturbation. All sorts of things.
Yes, you can still be sexual with your partner or yourself when you have herpes outbreaks.
You also may not feel like it.
That is true.
Depending on how bad it is.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. The first time people get it, they often feel like crap because they have flu-like symptoms also. So it really affects your whole body, this
herpes
virus.
flu.
Yeah.
I've heard about that.
Yeah. So you feel crappy, you get feverish, maybe achy.
I felt
horrible.
Pretty crummy from an emotional standpoint.
I was picking up on that in your conversation.
Is that what it was?
Savage.
Here we go.
I knew it.
Yeah, but not anymore.
Right. But you didn't want it. But
I didn't want it. It's been like 5 years at some point, at this point now. What's weird is that I don't know who I got it from. I actually thought I got it from this person. We decided to have unprotected sex because we had both been tested recently, although we'd had a recent partner, both of us did.
Okay.
But we'd sort of been tested recently, and I think she was on birth control, and we were both like, should we? And we're like, yeah, let's do it. And then we both got herpes.
Whoa.
At the same time. And so it's like, we don't know where it came from. It doesn't matter where it came from.
Right. Because you both have it.
Because we both have it. So that was the, I told her and she was like, oh my God, I do have it also, kind of at the same time. So not sure what happened there. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And then I went to the clinic and they gave me valacyclovir and told me to take 2 a day, I think, for the length of the outbreak.
Yep.
And then I didn't really keep taking it. I would take it if I had an outbreak. I also wasn't super sexually active. I didn't have any partners. But since that has happened, I've had multiple partners and of over a year. and didn't give it to one, but gave it to another.
Uh-huh.
Although I guess we don't know if it was me, but it was most likely me.
Okay. And it was already sometime into the relationship when you gave it to them?
Correct. Towards the end, actually.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And did you know you were having any symptoms?
No, because I was having other symptoms of something else.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
The plot thickens.
Yes. More STI episodes.
But no, not an STI.
Oh.
Yeah,
some other thing.
some other immune condition. Yeah.
You know, sometimes if you look back, you can say, oh, yeah, I was having prodrome and I thought it was like jock itch or
Yeah.
like whatever. Like once you know that it was herpes, then you can go back and say, oh, yeah, I was having some tingling and I didn't recognize it.
Yeah. Now I'm very aware of anything. If it feels off in any way, then I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. I'll start taking valacyclovir.
Yeah.
But now that I am more sexually active, I am on a daily suppressive dose, which is 500 milligrams, if I'm not mistaken.
Once a day.
Once a day. I take it at night. Is that okay?
Vitamin V.
Vitamin V. So there are no side effects. It reduces my, likelihood of transmitting it to somebody who doesn't have it, which I would love to do. I would love to continue doing that. I will say, and people have heard me say this, when you have the conversation before having sex with somebody and they say, oh, I also have herpes, it's a really fun moment.
That is a good moment. Yes, that is a good moment. 'Cause
Yeah.
it just kind of takes that off the table. You have that to bond over. It's good.
It's good.
Yeah.
And you could maybe have, if the birth controls, or if you're having sex with somebody who's not pregnant, it can take, using condoms off the table also.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which we all agree, they're useful.
They are useful.
They do prevent transmission of STIs and pregnancies.
Yes, they do.
And also maybe a slight decrease in sensation
Yes.
for some people.
Yes. And particularly uncircumcised people often appreciate that because the sensitivity is greater when your head of your penis is not constantly exposed to the elements of your underwear and your hands.
Oh, you're saying people who are uncircumcised actually
like have some preference for condoms.
Oh, that has not been my experience.
Not preference, but like appreciate the slight decrease in sensitivity.
Oh, cool. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, interesting. I do like if I can, keeping the foreskin up in the condom on top of it.
But that's tricky, right?
It is tricky and it doesn't really last that long, but every now and then you can kind of make it work depending on how tight the condom is. Anyways. If you could picture it.
Going in all the directions.
If you could picture it.
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I guess we could talk about talking about it.
Yeah.
Right? How do you talk about it? How do you talk about it?
Well, now I have to talk about it for the first time in a really long time.
Because you didn't have to talk about it because you had already talked about it.
Yes. Yes. So now when I talk about it, I say we should have an STI conversation. And they say, okay, yeah. And then I say, I've had HSV for about 30 years, but I don't get any outbreaks and I take suppression, so I can't really pass it to another person. And then they're like, great, when can we have sex?
Right.
I mean, I have had the experience
right?
where people are not freaked out by it.
Yeah.
And people, I mean, I'm 59. So the people that I'm having sex with are in their 50s, maybe 60s. And like many people have it.
Yeah.
So like they've either heard it before or they're not freaked out by it. And me providing a little bit of education about how suppression is so effective, like nobody has said they didn't want to have sex after hearing that I have HSV.
That has also been my experience. That does remind me, though, that suppressive medication will also reduce the likelihood of you getting outbreaks.
Yeah.
That's also...
I mean, it's
both.
a win-win.
It's a win-win. You get less outbreaks and less likely to transmit it.
Exactly. I did have postmenopausal more outbreaks than I had for many years before.
Yeah.
And now that I'm on suppression, I don't get outbreaks.
Yeah. Great. Win-win.
Yeah. I want to tell you this story about my herpes.
I'm here for it.
Consequences. Well, okay. So After I graduated from nurse practitioner school, I moved to the Central Valley of California for 2 years, Merced.
Settle in, people.
And the Central Valley, so I did this National Health Service loan repayment program where you go work in an underserved area for 2 years and you get all your student loans paid off for free.
Incredible.
Yes.
That doesn't exist anymore, I'm sure.
I don't know. Anyway, I moved to Merced as a 27-year-old single young Jewish woman. And there was not much going on socially for me there. But I ended up in a very hot fling with a firefighter in Merced. And we had very hot sex. It was very fun. He was also sleeping with other people, which I didn't love. So he was like not long-term relationship material, but I just could not stop.
Hard to resist.
He had herpes. He told me before we had sex for the first time. About a year into our whatever it was, situationship,
Yeah.
I got it. I was a women's health nurse practitioner and I knew all about it. And I was, very upset to get it because like I'm working in the field. I'm not supposed to be getting STIs, but
You
you know
should
what?
know better,
Everybody gets STIs.
regardless of who you are.
So I got it. I was really upset, very ashamed, very embarrassed. And then I moved back to San Francisco as soon as my 2-year commitment was over. And a month later, I met my husband.
Okay.
And we were together for 26 years. He never got it. He knew that I obviously told him I had it.
Right.
He never got it. 3 years ago, my marriage ended very unexpectedly due to infidelity that I discovered accidentally. It was extremely devastating.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. I was a mess. I was like not functional. I was worried that nobody was going to want my 56-year-old mom bod. Like I was destined to be alone. It was really terrible.
Divorce stigma also.
Divorce stigma. We had kids, one still in the house, one in college, like a life ahead of us that I thought looked very good. So it was very shocking and shocking for our community, our kids, whatever. That guy in Merced, the firefighter, I always we had really hot sex. So only about a month after my very devastating separation,
Go get him.
reached out to the guy. Like we were barely, we sort of were connected on social media. I didn't really know much about his life. I knew that he had gotten married and divorced and had a kid, but I didn't really know anything about his life. But I was like, hey, hi.
Remember me?
So for 26 years, I've harbored this fantasy that I could have sex with you again someday, but I knew I never could because I was going to be married for the rest of my life. But now I'm not.
That's amazing.
And he said, same.
No way.
Yeah.
You still live in Merced?
He still lives in Merced.
Wow. Okay. Not far.
2 hours,
Yeah.
but not
Worth
a big
it.
deal.
Worth it for the right booty.
So we hooked up and I didn't have to tell him I had herpes because he gave
Fucking
me
gave
herpes.
him to you. Yeah. The least he could do is fuck you again.
So we had this amazing reconnection where I got to fulfill a fantasy that I had for 26 years.
Wow.
I got to scratch an itch. Who gets to do that?
Yeah. Very few people.
Very few people.
Yeah.
But I got him out of my system because 30 years ago, he wasn't long-term relationship material and now he wasn't.
Still.
So,
Yeah.
but it went
But
on
also,
he got me through this very dark time.
a month after the end of your divorce, you were also not long-term relationship material.
Exactly. But here's this person who finds me hot, who wants to have sex with me, who makes me feel really good.
That's great.
Bring it on.
That's a fantastic
And
story.
I don't have to tell him I have herpes.
A little bit of a consolation prize,
Yes.
to the devastating sadness of.
Yes. Yes. But I'm here for creating, I sought out pleasure and healing and joy for myself and found it. And that's pretty awesome.
And probably have continued to find it since in the last 3 years.
So then, yeah, I've been having like this, my fear about like nobody's going to want my 50-something mom bod has not turned out to be
great
at all.
Amazing.
Yeah. I'm
kind of
having fun.
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah. And like, I have to tell people that I have herpes and
most people are fine with it.
Fine with it.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I'm really happy for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. You look kind of pleased.
I am pleased with myself.
Yeah. And I'm happy that you're having good sex.
Thank you.
And
I'm having great sex.
And that herpes hasn't gotten in the way of that.
Yes.
It doesn't have to get in the way of it.
That's right.
To anybody listening, if you have it or if you get it at some point, which you might, we hope you don't.
I don't want you to get herpes.
Me neither.
I don't want you to get any STI, but you probably already have at least one, and you probably will get more in your lifetime if you're having a sexual life.
And it doesn't have to negatively impact your sex life.
That's right.
But, when you do, if you do, it can.
It can. Yes. I mean, herpes is painful when it happens. So, like, of course, you're not going to want to have sex when you have an active outbreak.
And it's a bummer to tell your partner, like, hey, I can't have sex right now. I'm having an outbreak. I went to a sex party once, actually. This was cool. And it was a smaller party. There was maybe like 30 or 40 people. And the theme was like fun toys. And so people had brought all sorts of like different toys to like play with, like a e-stim, like an electronic stimulator, and like all sorts of whips and, horsetail butt plugs and whatever. But someone during the opening circle, someone said like, hey, do you have anything that you want to share with the group? And someone said, oh yeah, I'm having a herpes outbreak down there. So I'm just going to keep my underwear on. Just like that. To a room full of 30 people. And I was like, amazing.
Did anybody care?
Oh, I mean, I don't think anybody cared. I think people were like, oh, thank you for telling me. And that also like makes the
what's the person going to say? Like, you can't touch my genitals, but I'm going to go down on you all night because that's what I can do. And they're going to be like, yay.
Yeah, great. Or I'll touch myself and you can't touch me and you can just enjoy the show. There's a lot of things you could do.
So many things.
Okay, what about other things that aren't Valtrex really quickly, like lysine and like stress? Because I think people have more outbreaks when they're feeling a little stressed out or they're like in the sun too long or all that kind of stuff. Like,
yes.
Are there things we can do?
There is some evidence that stress is not great for herpes. So, trying to reduce your stress is good. There's some evidence, although not great evidence, that lysine, which is an amino acid, helps prevent outbreaks, and arginine, which is another amino acid, is not good for outbreaks. So chocolate and nuts have a lot of arginine in them.
Spinach? Is it spinach?
I don't remember that one.
I forget, but I remember chocolate.
Some people do take a lysine supplement when they have herpes.
Can't hurt.
There are some topical things that are helpful if you actually have an outbreak.
Grapefruit extract, maybe? Is that one of them?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'd have to look up the evidence for that.
What are the other ones?
There's an ointment called Super Lysine Plus that has like lysine and chamomile and stuff in it. That's very soothing if you actually have an outbreak.
Okay.
People with vulvas need to know that if you have an outbreak, it hurts a lot to pee when you have an outbreak. So you can like keep a water bottle with a squirt top next to the toilet and just squirt cool water in between your legs to squirt over your vulva while the pee is coming out so that the acid pee doesn't hurt your outbreak. That's really helpful. Or peeing into a bathtub is also comforting.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This is usually for people who have a primary outbreak who are like really in severe pain. Usually most people's subsequent outbreaks are not that bad.
Yeah.
But the cool water while you're peeing is often helpful.
Okay. Good tip.
Yeah.
Thank you. What about people who get cold sores and who say it's not herpes?
It is herpes.
Okay.
Not much to say about that. Like,
but they're like, but I got it from my mom.
And she probably got it from your dad. No, I mean, many people get cold sores when they're children from their mother who got it from their own preschool experience.
Yeah.
But yes, it is herpes. And yes, if you go down on your partner, you're going to give it to them.
Right.
Or you can.
You can.
Yeah.
And if you kiss your partner.
Yes, you can give it to their mouth. So if you have a cold sore, please don't kiss anyone or go down on them.
Okay. How about this? This is a little weird one. If you get cold sores on your mouth, are you supposed to tell people before you kiss them? Because how is that any different than genital herpes? and telling them before you fuck them.
I think you should probably tell them.
Yeah.
Honestly. I mean, don't you want to know what you're getting into when you make out with somebody?
I would like to. I don't.
People don't, but yeah, go on.
No one does. No one says, "Oh, I get cold
sores
sores every," or fever blisters, or like whatever. What are other words for it that are hot spots?
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
And that's the stigma, right? That's like perpetuating the stigma is making a big difference between oral herpes and genital herpes.
Yes,
when it should sort of be all just herpes.
Now that is the case.
Okay. Let's do some Instagram questions.
Great.
Oh, here you go. I have HSV-1, but I've never had a cold sore. How do you feel about disclosure before kissing? So this person, sorry, I didn't mean to. This person, they got the blood test.
Right.
And now has.
I mean, this is why I feel like the blood test, it's too much information. Yes, if you know you have HSV-1, you should probably say, I've had a positive blood test for HSV-1. I've never, ever had an outbreak or a cold sore. But I think it is the responsible thing to do if you have the information. Because what if you give them herpes genitally and you knew you had HSV-1?
Do you remember during the Dan Savage conversation when I said something like, I tell people before having sex with them because that's the right thing to do? And he said, for you.
Yes.
And he was very explicit about the for you. That's the right thing to do for you.
And this is my value.
Yeah.
My value system is like, if you know you have this, you would feel worse if you gave it to someone and you knew. It's different if you didn't know and you give it to them.
Which is why maybe if you don't have any outbreaks, don't get tested.
I mean, I discourage people from getting blood tests. I don't think it's useful except in the very rare situations that I talked about.
But unfortunately, this person got the test, got the result, and now has to disclose if they want to, if that's part of their value system.
I would, because Debbie Barish, would feel worse if I gave it to someone and knew that I had it and hadn't told them.
I have slept with somebody who had herpes, and we talked about it because I always bring it up. But her practice is not to tell people. She's on Valtrex. She doesn't get outbreaks, but her value system doesn't require her to tell people. I don't care about it because I already have it, but some people might be a little bummed about that.
Let's talk about HIV. Like, I had a recent partner who has had HIV for 40 years. Mm-hmm. He's on meds. He's been undetectable and untransmittable for 20, 30 years.
I would want to know.
He tells every person.
Yeah.
Could he morally not tell people because it's a 0% chance of giving it to a person? Yeah, morally he could not tell people.
Yeah.
But he does.
Yeah. I would want to know.
Yeah.
You would want to know.
I'm not worried about getting it from him. Yeah. But.
Okay, there we go. Not the speed round we thought we were.
I know. Okay, next.
Current partner has it. How likely am I to get it? 10%. What can we actually do to reduce transmission?
The partner should be on suppression, and you should avoid having sex when the partner has any sign of an outbreak impending.
Perfect. Amazing. And pretty likely to not have many signs of impending outbreaks if they're using.
Correct.
So
and you're fine. I think you're fine.
Get on Valtrex.
I think you're fine to not use condoms.
And you're fine not to use condoms. Yeah. Okay, here's a personal question for me. How quickly does the Valtrex work? And can you go off and on? Like, let's say your partner's traveling.
Yes.
Do you keep doing it? Do you want to, what's the word for that when it's like, it's in your system?
Yeah. I don't know what the word is, but I would probably stay on it because it's preventing you from getting outbreaks.
Boom.
I don't know the research about how long you have to be on it until you're not contagious, but I'd probably give it at least a few days.
Okay. Yeah. Is it instant? We don't know.
I don't know if it's instant. I'd probably just this is totally not evidence-based, but I would give it at least a few days.
And just stay on it.
I'd stay on it.
So that you don't have
a benign medication.
Yeah. So you say.
And I'm not working for any pharmaceutical company.
Yeah.
And I take it myself.
Okay. And I take it too. Can you be sued for giving HSV knowingly?
I'm not a lawyer, so I can't answer that question.
Good answer. Yeah. Good answer. Also, why are you giving HSV knowingly? I think what they mean is that they knew they had HSV.
Yes.
They might not have known that they had symptoms.
Right. They
And
give it to someone and they're worried about getting sued.
yeah,
I mean, people can sue people for anything. So I can't really answer that question accurately.
in the great country of the United States of
Yes.
America.
Yes.
Myth busting about saliva transmission and when shouldn't be concerned.
It's not really a virus that lives in saliva. It lives in the nerve roots, especially in mucous membranes. So it's not a saliva thing. It's more of a tissue thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Vulvar, penile, oral tissues.
Yeah. Or anal.
Or anal, yes.
Yeah. The whole genital area.
Yeah, that
can
all
get it.
has nice sensitive tissues.
And the mouth.
Yeah.
Anything else is just not that.
Eyes.
Ooh, yeah. Wait. Oh, yeah. What's the deal with herpes in childbirth?
Great question. So
thank you.
We used to be very worried about herpes transmission in childbirth. But really, the biggest risk for herpes transmission in childbirth is if the mom gets herpes for the very first time, if she gets exposed to herpes for the very first time towards the end of her pregnancy, and she and the fetus have not had time to build up antibodies. If she's had herpes, we do give moms valacyclovir for the last month of pregnancy to prevent outbreaks, to prevent transmission. We used to automatically make people have C-sections if they had herpes.
Crazy.
Which that is not the case.
Yeah. Oh, thank God.
I had 2 vaginal births.
Congrats.
You take valacyclovir, it prevents transmission. The risk to the baby is minimal. The risk to the baby is much more severe if a mom gets herpes for the very first time when she's like 39 weeks pregnant and then she gives birth. That can cause blindness, bad, serious life-threatening consequences.
What is mom doing at 39 weeks?
Well, let's not judge.
I'm not judging. It's a curiosity,
I mean, maybe they've been careful for the 5 years that they've been together and she hasn't been exposed to it. And then one day,
particularly stressful, hot day in San Francisco. Or she has a new partner. Who knows?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that's a kink.
People are having babies doesn't mean they're not sexual.
I have found many people on Field, the dating app, saying, I'm having a kid on my own. I'm curious about having sex with this new pregnant body. I'm fucking horny, looking for sex. So I'm not judging at all. Yeah. I'm just kind of curious. It's it's a little bit of a niche situation, But also, is it possible that they already had the herpes and now maybe the stress of pregnancy is...
I mean, you can often tell by how severe the first outbreak is, whether they've ever had it before. Because nobody gets as bad of an outbreak as somebody their body has never seen that virus before.
Okay, so unlikely that it's going to lead to a C-section or that you have to really worry about this too much.
I mean, I think if somebody has a primary outbreak in the last couple weeks of pregnancy, then they probably would be encouraged to have a C-section.
Great.
But that's fine.
Yeah.
C-sections are safe and the baby will be fine.
Great. Everybody's fine.
Everybody's fine.
And then we get on valacyclovir.
Yes.
I do love how Dan Savage is like, who cares? Just get on Valtrex and forget about it. He's like, it's not...
It's a nothing.
It's a nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, how about effects on self-esteem? I mean, that kind of plays into the whole stigma thing, right? But it's possible that was your self-esteem affected?
100%.
Yeah, me too.
I felt disgusting. I felt gross. I felt diseased. I had a red A.
Oh, scarlet.
H,
yeah, the scarlet H
on me. Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah.
And then, I was pretty lucky in terms of I met my husband very soon after getting diagnosed, and he's a doctor and he didn't care.
Right. That does help.
Because he knows that it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So I kind of got off easy back 30 years ago when I had to have this conversation with only this one person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt very scared to tell him and that people would think I was gross. I mean, it's kind of shocking that I'm so out about it on this platform with your 270,000 followers.
Let's go.
Because I feel, and I mean, I had a similar experience about my abortion story, which we can also talk about at another time.
Yes.
But having an abortion as an abortion provider is I had a lot of shame about that. And I feel like if I'm going to talk to people about stigma and decreasing the stigma around STIs and abortion, I have to be willing to come out about STIs and abortion.
Yeah.
So here I am.
Good job.
Thank you.
Out on the Love Drive podcast.
Woo!
Thousands and thousands of listeners. Well, I'm a love coach and I struggle with love.
I feel you.
Particularly in this moment, I've been struggling a lot, and it's hard to admit sometimes.
Yeah.
But also, like, who's not struggling with something in their life?
Yep.
Whether it's abortion, herpes, love, relationships, attachment styles.
Yep. Feel you.
That's life.
That is life.
That's life.
All the juicy, complicated, painful, and also ecstatic parts of life. It's all part of it.
There's a lot out there. All right, let's see. Oh, is it true that herpes is forever?
Yes.
Yeah.
Herpes is forever.
And there are people who...
Unlike HPV.
Right, which I feel like I've kicked.
You can clear HPV, and most people clear HPV.
Yeah, I haven't had a symptom in a decade or more.
Yeah.
But herpes is forever.
Herpes is forever.
However, there are some people who give one outbreak and then they'll never see one again, and they're not on acyclovir or valacyclovir.
That's right. The virus is in the nerve root, like in your back. It lives in this nerve root, like at the base of your spine. It's there.
Can't they get rid of it? I don't get it.
Well, so, I mean, we can start to talk about vaccines. There's no effective vaccine for herpes, but COVID vaccine research, mRNA research, helped forward herpes vaccine research a lot. So I think we might see a vaccine sooner than we would have without COVID.
For people who don't have it?
For people who don't have it.
And otherwise, doesn't matter.
It's just an annoying skin rash. It's okay.
It is annoying, though. Okay, yeah. Are there things doctors and nurses themselves get wrong about HSV, things you wish your colleagues understood better?
Well, I think it depends on whether you're talking about people working within the sexual and reproductive health space or people who are just doing primary care, because I think, how common herpes is and everything, there are plenty of clinicians, healthcare providers who just aren't aware of how common it is and how not a big deal it is. So I think it kind of depends on where, as a healthcare provider, you are working. Do we get things wrong? Sure, I get things wrong all the time. And that's why it's important to practice evidence-based medicine and keep up on research and, be aware of what's happening in the science world and, change your counseling of people when new and important research comes out.
Cool.
Maybe there will be something soon that does take herpes away and makes it not forever, but that's not now.
That's not now. What do you say to a patient in the room right after they've gotten a positive result?
Oh, it's so hard. That's one of my hardest interactions with patients. So a lot of times people come in and what they describe as why they're there, I know that it's herpes before I even look at her vulva.
Yeah.
Then I look, I see, and I know that it's herpes. We don't have a confirmatory test yet, but I have to say I am pretty sure that what I'm seeing is a herpes outbreak. Almost 100% of the time, people are tearful. People are shocked, upset, like they think it's a death sentence. Like people just don't understand that it's just an annoying skin rash because this shame and embarrassment about it because of the stigma, people feel disgusting. So I have her usually sit up after I've done whatever test I'm going to do, and then we talk for a while about what this means, what it doesn't mean, what the options are for treatment. I'm going to give you medicine right now that you're going to start taking. It's going to help clear this up sooner. You're going to feel better in the next few days. This is how you should pee when you get home. This is how you should take care of yourself for the next few days. You need to take a lot of ibuprofen. This is really painful. It's one of the most painful things. This is how to deal with it. This is how to talk to your partner. This doesn't mean your partner's cheating on you. Like I have a lot that I have to cover when I give somebody a new herpes diagnosis.
And now you can just give them this episode.
I have a podcast you could listen to.
Yeah.
I'm going to move on to the next patient. No.
Sean's all right. Sean's all right. Yeah, I remember the woman that I went to a clinic and she was like,
Did you know that it was probably that's what it was?
no.
Oh.
You know what? Did I know? I don't think I did. But yeah, I feel like I should have known. I should have known.
Denial is very powerful.
It was powerful. And I went in there and she was like, I think that's herpes. Like, we're going to get a culture. I'll get back to you. But like, I'm pretty sure it is. And I was pretty devastated. I think I tried to keep it light. I think I was like, hey, you know what? It's bound to happen anyways. I called my friend immediately who's a sex therapist in the Bay Area, sexual health counselor. And she was like, Sean, how do you not already have it? I'm shocked.
Yeah.
You had a good run, brother.
Because you were like late 30s already.
Slutting it up.
Like single sexual guy.
Very
right?
sexual, very slutty. And mostly practicing safer sex, getting tested regularly, having conversations about STIs, not engaging in too much risky sex, but every now and then, for sure, it happens. So yeah, I think I did. I had a good run. You know?
Yeah.
But I was down. I was feeling pretty bummed.
Yeah.
I was also like living in a hotel, but I was in transition again.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Oh, it's terrible. There's a problem. I think I love being in. I think there's an existential kink here where I just like being in transition and like
on the edge,
struggling. I like struggling.
That could get in the way of relationships.
It has been getting in the way of relationships. Okay. Since we're talking about stigma, where does this freaking stigma come from? Like what? Why? Why this one thing?
Yeah. That is a great question also. Misogyny.
Okay.
Sexual puritanism.
Uh-huh.
Like you shouldn't be spreading your legs. And if you spread your legs, you're going to get diseases.
Yeah.
It's like from Judeo-Christian anti-sex, anti-women sentiment.
But like we don't care about syphilis or chlamydia.
Well, we shouldn't care about chlamydia. Chlamydia is like annoying and you take a pill.
We should care about syphilis.
We should care about syphilis because it can be asymptomatic for a long time and then can cause much more serious health effects than pretty much any of the other STIs.
Gonorrhea, we don't really care about.
No.
Again, it's like a cold for your
dude. Like you have drip and it hurts. Like you get a shot and you're done.
Okay. But for some reason, herpes is like, oh, I mean, I think because it's persistent. It's forever. It's persistent.
Yeah. And it's ugly. You know, herpes looks bad. It feels bad.
It's spreadable.
It's easy to spread. It's easy to spread by people who don't know they have it. Like it has a lot of things that check off boxes that make it not good.
Yeah.
But if you reframe it to like it's a skin rash that comes and goes and is a pain to have.
And it's contagious.
Yeah, like just be careful.
Be careful when you have it. Yeah. Yeah, so okay. So purity culture, basically. Yes. And it has like some stickiness to it that just makes it a little bit less desirable.
Of the STIs that you might want to have.
Of the STIs out there.
HSV might not be one that you desire to have.
Where can people go for trustworthy information? As if this wasn't enough. Maybe they want to share a link with their partner or.
So I used to send people to the CDC's HSV information, but now the CDC, we have some problems.
Compromised. Is it compromised?
Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri has a very good herpes research program and puts out a lot of the most accurate herpes information out there.
Cool.
So WashU St. Louis has good herpes information. Planned Parenthood is always a good source of accurate sexual and reproductive health information. And then if you have a local STI clinic like we are lucky enough to have in San Francisco, also.
You're talking about the
SF City clinics.
So good.
Yeah. And you can just go on their website if you're not in the Bay Area and they have a lot of really good, accurate information.
All these links will be in the show notes. And also if you need to find a clinic, like there are STI clinics out there. Like you could type in like St. Louis STI
Depending
clinic.
On where you live, many public health departments have their own STI clinics. But yes, you should be able to
Fine.
find it.
Yeah. And there's Planned Parenthoods for the most part.
Yes.
If those are still even around.
They're around and doing really important work, even in places where they can't do abortions right now.
Okay. I was in Flagstaff when it happened, and I found the local Coconino County public health clinic, and they had a sexual health clinic that I booked an appointment and went and saw.
Great.
So I had to, you have options.
Totally.
Anything else? Where can we find you? Where's your next book? Where can we book an appointment?
Well, I'm very active on Instagram because I'm also an artist. So I'm an artist almost every day. I make zines and art journal about sexual and reproductive health.
Wait, stop. I didn't know this.
Yeah. So
cool.
You can find me on Instagram at the new Debbie B, all one word.
Cool.
And then
do you sell your zines?
I give them away.
Oh,
I have some for you, actually.
Great. Amazing. Amazing.
I have ones about dating in your 50s after divorce and having sex as a, 50 something after divorce. So they are sort of in themes around my life.
Cool.
But anyway, so at the new Debbie B on Instagram, and then you can't really, I work in a large private practice in Berkeley. And if you Google me, you can easily find me if you want to come see me as a patient, but you don't need to come see me. You can get your STIs treated in many other places.
Yeah. But if you're in love with Debbie, then
if you need an IUD, you should definitely come see me because I'm the best. I am the best.
Wait a second. I actually heard about this.
Yeah, so I am very committed to reducing the pain for IUD placements. And
yes.
I take care of people. I am very good at getting IUDs in and out. And so if you do need an IUD, please come see me.
Is there something else you're also really good at? You're the person when it's difficult?
Yes, contraceptive implant removal. So the birth control method that goes in your arm.
That's the one.
I am very good at getting them out when other people can't. I'm like a referral source for the Bay Area.
I have heard that about you.
Wow, my reputation precedes me.
It really does, yeah. We might run in similar circles.
Awesome. I look forward to seeing you and talking about something other than herpes.
Yes, yeah.
We have a lot of things to talk about.
I'm sure we do, yeah. Next on the agenda, circumcision.
Yes. Yes. We should talk about abortion. We should talk about birth control. These are things that your people want to know about.
I would love to, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
What are the options? And okay. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your wisdom.
I am so honored to be here. I can't even tell you.
I'm really, really pleased. One last question. What does love mean to you?
Love means a calm nervous system with lots of juiciness and endorphins.
Wow. That sounds nice to me. Wishing you that.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you so much for listening. One quick thing before you go. Debbie and I talked in length about suppression, but I went back after we wrapped up and looked at the actual transmission numbers because I wanted you to have it. So daily valacyclovir reduces the risk of passing herpes to a partner by about half, so roughly 50%. And it reduces your likelihood of getting an outbreak by 70 to 80%. Those numbers are from Corey and the colleagues in the New England Journal of Medicine, and the links are in the show notes. So still very, very, very protective. And when you stack it with not having sex during a prodrome or an outbreak and being open with your partner about where you're at, the real world risk drops well below that. Wanted you to have those numbers. Thank you for listening. If this was helpful to you, please share it. Maybe word of mouth. If you're not comfortable posting it on your socials. If you have any comments or questions, leave them below the show on Spotify or in YouTube. You can always send me an email at podcast@thelovedrive.com. You can leave a voicemail at 415-494-9559. Thank you for listening. Have a beautiful week.